Hey, it's Meatball.
And Mark.
And this is the Rocker Morning Show on demand from 107.7 RKR. 107.7 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
Yeah, Mark Frankhouse.
What's up, man? How are you?
Doing great.
Fantastic. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
I am not. I don't know what was going on with my neighbors last night. But at one point I peeked out, it was probably 11:30, something like that.
Yeah.
I peeked out my window and there were two cars with their flashers on in the middle of our parking lot, like not in parking spots, just parked in the middle with their flashers on, revving their engines. One was this really loud diesel, so it was just really, really loud right outside the windows. And like somebody was like honking their horns over and over again. I heard my neighbors from my building, my end of the building, go out there, tell them to shut up. And it was a whole thing. I had to sleep on the couch last night.
Wow.
I had to sleep on the other end of my apartment because I could not. This was all happening like when I should have already been asleep, you know?
Yeah.
So I had to go sleep on the couch last night. So today, if you hear any cracking noises, don't worry. It's just my bones.
No, that's not good.
And my joints. I feel... Other than that, I feel great today.
That's good.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like you feel great today.
No, I mean, I'm just stiff. I'm just very, very sore.
Gotcha.
I slept a lot, just not good. So there's that. Bad news for me, but good news for another one of our listeners. Obviously, we have been doing Assault the Vault for the past 4 weeks, and we finally wrapped that up. And a lot of people call. They want to know who the winner is and whatnot. Just to let you know, 101,420 entrants.
Wow.
That's individual people who entered in. 2.686 million contest entries for this whole thing. And
Man.
we have a winner.
Yes, and congratulations goes out to Emily Barnish.
Yay.
Was our grand prize winner. She scored $30,000 with Assault the Vault. And this was a phone call yesterday when we got the announcement. So, Emily, while we check on something here, what would you do if you won that $30,000?
I would probably pay off debt that I had.
I mean, what about something fun, you know? Because you got to treat yourself at least a little bit. Have you been planning a trip or anything?
We want to go to the new park that they're building at Universal. It's going to open next year.
Oh, a new park. Well, what's in the new park?
Yeah, it's got like Mario. It's got like they're going to have Harry Potter in there, and they're going to have, it's like a dark thing. They'll have like How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, that's very, very cool.
Well, we've got your information figured out here. I appreciate you waiting on that. But Emily, we have some additional news for you.
You had better start packing for Universal because you have successfully assaulted the vault.
You have won our $30,000 grand prize.
Did I?
Woo! Yes, you've just added $30,000 to your bank account. You can pay off that debt, and yes, you get to go on that trip to Universal.
I was wondering why I got a phone call and then I didn't answer.
Well, we're glad you did answer.
Thank you. I don't even know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. You just enjoy a little financial freedom for a bit.
I want to thank you guys so much. I don't even have words at all. It's like, I would have never thought that something like this would ever happen to me.
Well, it has, and it couldn't have been for a more deserving person. Emily, congratulations. You have successfully assaulted the vault.
Thank you.
107.7 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
Yeah, Mark Frankhouse.
There's an alarming amount of empty shelves when you go looking for WD-40 right now, or at least there was yesterday when I went to the store. They probably have them restocked now, but it always seems like around Halloween, WD-40 kind of goes flying off the shelves, Mark, and I think I finally figured out why.
Why?
WD-40 is being used to preserve jack-o'-lanterns and pumpkins on people's porches. There was an article, I guess, a couple years ago from Good Housekeeping about how to better preserve your carved pumpkins and jack-o'-lanterns on your porch.
Okay.
Because, when you gut them, take all the stuff out of them, they tend to degrade pretty quick outside in the elements. The WD-40, put just a thin coat on it, serves a couple of purposes. It acts as a repellent for bugs and insects that would otherwise get in there and eat it. And it keeps rodents like squirrels and chipmunks away from eating them as well. Because they don't, they obviously don't like the smell of the WD-40. They're going to stay away from it. Mm-hmm. Now, something I learned recently, though, it does get pretty cold outside this time of year. If you put a thin layer of your WD-40 on your pumpkins, they won't freeze when it gets too cold outside. And that's another reason why they might break down faster than usual from the moisture getting in there and then freezing and then melting every day. So it keeps them from freezing, and it kind of preserves them that way too.
Huh. So does this also like deter kids from smashing pumpkins in the neighborhood, or like what?
I don't think you can do that. I think the only way to deter that is to fill them with concrete.
Right.
At that point, they're not going to swing on those pumpkins.
That would hurt.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it doesn't deter from that. You just have to get a Ring camera, I guess, for those. But yeah, this was interesting little tips here for Halloween. You can see how to do this properly and safely up now at WRKR.com and over on the 107.7 RKR app. There was one recommendation, though, and I found it kind of funny because I know they only put it in there because of one person's experience with this. They recommend if you use WD-40 on your jack-o'-lanterns to use LED lights or some kind of battery-operated light in them, not a real candle or flame.
Well, yeah, clearly. I mean, yeah.
It would drastically shorten the life of your pumpkin on the porch.
Also, your life.
And your porch and your arm hair and possibly your face.
It's time to turn up your dials and tune out the traffic because we're playing the Daily 5 on the Rocker Morning Show. Testing the mental magnitude of your favorite morning monkeys on the radio. And now, your hosts for the Daily 5, Meatball and Mark Frank House.
It is the Daily 5 where Mark and I ask each other questions. The other one answers. Today, Mark is asking the questions. I am answering. I got some help on the line today from Lucy. Good morning, Lucy. How are you?
I'm doing great. Good morning.
Good morning. You got to help Meatball get 3 out of 5 questions correct today. If you do, he will get the very important second point for the week. If not, I will tie it up 1-1.
All right, Luce. I feel good about this. I feel good.
Ooh, astrophysics. No, just kidding. Sports, question number 1.
All right.
Wayne Gretzky has the most points of all time in hockey. Who has the second most points? Is it Gordie?
I have no idea.
Is it Gordie Howe, Jaromir Jagr, or Mark Messier?
Ooh.
Mark Messier.
I was thinking.
Wow.
How confident are you on that?
I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say, she came right out with it.
Yeah. What was the second one? Jagr?
Yeah. Howe, Jagr, or Messier?
Howe, Jagr, Messier. Jagr jumped out at me, Lucy. I know you're kind of taking a shot in the dark. I kind of am too because I'm not a big hockey person. What do you think? Is Jagr okay, or do you really feel close to Messier?
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'll take Jagr.
Okay, let's go Jagr. Final answer.
Jagr is correct. He is number 2. So it's Jagr, Messier, and then Gordie Howe.
Oh, we were close.
Interesting fact, not to get too off topic, if you took away all of Wayne Gretzky's goals, he would still have the most points of all time in NHL.
That's insane. That's insane.
That's why they call him the Great One. Halloween is question number 2.
All right.
Back in 2022, a city in what state renamed themselves Halloween? Was it in South Carolina, Massachusetts, or Rhode Island?
Massachusetts.
I was thinking New England for sure. I think I'm with Lucy on this one. I think we go Massachusetts. Final answer.
Massachusetts, final answer. It
Rhode
was
Island?
South Carolina.
Oh, why?
A city in South Carolina renamed themselves the town of Halloween.
Oh, okay. Well, is it still Halloween?
I think it was just for the year.
Oh, okay.
Food is question number 3.
Okay.
Which one of these sandwiches was something you couldn't once get at Burger King? A ham and cheese sub, veal parmesan, or a Reuben sub?
The Parmesan one.
The veal parmesan?
Yeah.
Boy, I think you're right. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna go with Lucy on this one. She coming right out real confident. I'm gonna say veal parmesan. Final answer.
Veal parmesan, final answer. You could not once get a Reuben. They
man.
did have veal Parmesan sub one.
Seriously? Like real veal?
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that kind of
What
messed
the
up?
heck, Burger King?
I know, right? All right, got to run the table here.
All right, Lucy. Now we got it now. We got it now.
General knowledge. Technically, when does it go from afternoon to evening? Is it 4:01, 5 on the dot, or 5:01?
Oh, geez. 5 on the dot.
What a dumb question.
I'm sorry, I've already gone through 590 of them in my life.
It's just like it's so simple yet so frustrating and so
right.
infuriating at the same time. Lucy, any bases off the 5 o'clock or just throwing it out there?
I'm just throwing one out there.
All right. Let's go. You said 5 straight up.
Yep.
All right, let's do it. 5 straight up. Final answer.
5 straight up, final answer. It becomes the afternoon at 5:01. Yeah.
Oh, geez.
Unfortunately,
That's stupid.
could not make it 2-0. We tie it up 1-1. But Lucy, regardless, you are a winner because you are going to see this awesome Jersey Boys show at the Farmers Alley Theater. Congratulations, and thanks for hanging out with us today.
Woohoo, thank you.
Lucy, thanks so much for playing, and we'll get him next time.
KR, it's a Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
Hey, Meatball.
So we could have a potentially big snowstorm hitting us.
Already?
Hate to say it. But there's already some predictions being made that could mean some big time weather. Meatball, you and I have talked about this quite a bit in the last month or so, that we're in a La Nina year. So we're most likely going to see some more white this winter, which I'm not particularly mad at.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to see at least a little more snow.
Exactly.
Or at least consistent snow.
Well, the Farmer's Almanac of 2025 actually had quite a bit to say when it came to the winter weather that the Great Lakes is going to see.
Okay.
They definitely predict us having a colder, wetter, and more white winter season,
Okay.
with 1 week in particular predicted to have a big storm. Right off the bat, they're saying the coldest outbreak of the season is going to come during the final week of January into the beginning of February. That's when we're going to see the coldest weather. They're going to
Okay.
say frigid Arctic air is going to bring a sharp plunge in temperatures almost nationwide, but especially across the northern plains. As the very cold air kind of blows across the Great Lakes, you could see some heavy snow showers and squalls and bring in some intense bursts of snow to the Lee, which is east of the lakes.
Okay. So the this isn't like happening next week or anything. This is like
No.
our Farmer's Almanac is like, hey, be prepared in January and February. It's going to be cold and snowy.
Basically.
I mean, that's kind of the accepted norm there. Yeah, that's fine by me. By January and February, I mean, I'm wearing my jeans and boots and big puffy coat anyway. So
So they're saying we should especially highlight the time frames from January 20th to 23rd and 24th to 27th, which mean copious amounts of snow, rain, sleet, and ice, depending on where you live. And again, you can check this out on the 1077 RKR app, what they have to say about the upcoming winter. But yeah, potentially that middle to end of January into early February, they're expecting that we could potentially get a big snowstorm.
So you're telling me I should probably get my new tires before January?
Yeah, you could probably do that. That'd probably be a good idea. Now, it is important to notice, obviously, the Farmer's Almanac, not perfect. However, they do have an 80% success rate.
They predicted, and I wrote about this, the first frost for this part of the area would be coming this week, and we just happen to be in freeze warnings this week. So
Pretty good track record. So listen, if you want to play the lottery, ask the Farmer's Almanac. You'll win 80% of the jackpot.
Dear Farmer's Almanac, what are the Powerball numbers next week?
You just got to figure which one is going to be wrong, and then
Oh yeah, that's fair.
77 RKR. It's a Rocker Morning Show with Mark Frankhouse.
And Meatball.
All right, maybe I want to play a little game with you and our audience right now.
Okay.
A little Halloween themed fact or fiction.
Okay.
Now it's going to be guest starring Fact or Fiction's Jonathan Frakes. He's not actually in the studio, but we're going to play a little game. I'm going to go through some of the myths from Michigan that I wrote about here on the 1077 RKR app that you can check out in full if you want to take a guess and see if some of these are fact or fiction, because there's a lot of myths out there. There's a lot of urban legends, a lot of myths. There's so many that I probably missed a bunch of them.
Okay.
But I want to go through a couple of these and see if you can guess whether these are fact or fiction. Okay.
Okay. All right.
So we're going to start off with the singing sands of Beta Gree. The myth is the sound that you apparently hear in the sand is said to be the voice of a Native American maiden who lost her lover to the Great Lakes and still calls to him from the shore.
Oh, interesting. Is this up around Sleeping Bear Dunes?
No,
area?
this is in the Upper Peninsula.
Okay, so this is different than what I was thinking. I'm going to err on the side of myth for this one.
See if it's myth. Is it fact or is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm gonna say fiction. Yeah, fiction.
It never happened. We made this one up. It's fiction.
That's right. It's
Okay,
fiction.
all right.
It is fiction. The nickname actually speaks to high silica and quartz content found in the sand, and in places the sand actually squeaks or sings when you walk on it.
Okay, all right. That's cool.
Here's another interesting one. Hell's Bridge. Talked about this before. The legend said that in the 1800s, a seemingly friendly older man named Elias Frisky, or Frisk.
Frisky's funnier.
Not for what he did. Went on a murderous rampage, killing several children.
Oh.
And said that the demons made him do it. And apparently was hung from the Hell's Bridge in Michigan. Do you think that's fact or fiction?
You know that we've talked about some dark stories in Michigan before. I'm going to say that's fact.
Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened.
Yeah, nobody named Elias Frisk ever existed in Michigan. And the Frisky family did not show up in the county until the early 1900s, according to the census.
Okay.
So there is a Frisk Road, but I think that's where they got the legend from.
Yeah, I'd still call it Frisky Road, and then that's where all them teens gather on the weekends. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Awesome. The Great Lakes are set in stone. That's the next one. The Great Lakes were formed by glaciers, immense weight bearing down on the Earth's crust, and the myth is that the Great Lakes are slowly rising. Fact or fiction?
Oh, that's interesting. So, like, the water is rising, or the actual bottom of the lake?
The bottom of the lake.
I feel Lake Superior has that volcano under it that spits out little stones every once in a while. I'm going to say that's fact.
You were correct. It's fact.
Yep.
Hey!
Yeah, without the pressure from the glacier each year, the northern shoreline is imperceptibly rising.
Okay.
It's so small and minute that you barely see it, but it is actually true. All right, this last one, I'm going to test your knowledge here, Meeple. The Lake Michigan sharks. Fishermen claim tales of hauling up bull sharks, even great whites, from the freshwater depths of the Great Lakes. Fact or fiction?
Okay, I know for a fact there are no great whites, but bull sharks, I fully believe there are bull sharks in Lake Michigan. In fact, there have been reports of sightings and attacks from bull sharks. I'm going to say that's partially fact.
Not a chance. Not this time. It never happened.
No. Apparently, Shed Aquarium debunked the myth thanks to a series of locks and dams, as well as an electric barrier that they installed.
Okay.
Yeah, so they were really serious about this.
So there's an electric fence keeping sharks out of Lake Michigan?
Yeah, basically.
Well, if they get a hold of that, nuclear power I was talking about the other day, they just blow right through that.
Well, there are lots to go through from Melon Heads to the Nain Rouge. Go through the full list again. You can visit the 1077 RKR app. Give us a call, 978-1077. Let us know about some interesting local urban legends we can add to this list, and if you've had any spooky experiences with them, because I don't know, man. The last thing I need is to be walking around at night when a melon head pops around a corner and it's like, hey, heard you call me fiction on the radio.
It's going to be like the Caveman Geico commercial, You're going to have to buy Melonhead's dinner to save the station from slander. 1077 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
There is a candy store in Ohio that I think everyone needs to visit. at least once in their lives, and I know it means going to Ohio, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. Sweeties Candy Warehouse in Cleveland. This is the largest candy store in the entire United States of America.
Man.
Literally any kind of candy you can remember, imagine, concoct in your brain, think of overseas. They have all the Toblerones and all that good stuff. They've got it. It is literally a warehouse of candy stacked to the ceiling. And if that's not enough, they have a full dessert area where they prepare and bake fresh desserts, cakes, pies, and all that good stuff. And they also have some of the packaged stuff too, so the little Debbies and whatnot. They have toys, classic toys, a soda shop, a popcorn shop, and they have a mini golf course at the candy store. That's so much.
So much to unpack there.
Link to their site and the videos of this place are up now on the 1077 RKR app. Mark, what is your go-to candy? Like if you were to walk into the store and only come out with like one thing, what would it be? Keep in mind you're buying it in bulk.
Buying it in bulk.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to Halloween candy, the one thing I'm going to keep an eye out for, because my two favorite, the classic, which they finally brought back, which I was overjoyous about, was the cookies and cream Twix.
Oh,
that was my favorite when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
That was huge. But the most recent one, the one that is the most dangerous, is the marshmallow Kit Kat.
The marshmallow Kit Kat?
It's the Halloween marshmallow Kit Kat. It is very, very dangerous.
So like there's marshmallow in the wafer of it?
No,
I guess,
it's got marshmallow coating.
Oh.
Yeah. Very, very dangerous.
See, I'm just not that adventurous. Like the one-off stuff is nice during the holidays and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And when you get me like to Easter, I kind of like the malted eggs. You know, like they're the I don't know what to call them basically, but you know the chocolate malt eggs or whatever.
Right.
But like if it were me, I would have a tough choice between anything gummy. So like gummy worms and gummy bears. My favorite thing in the world, just because I'm a texture eater and that texture is so engaging for me. But at the same time, I'm not even a chocolate and peanut butter combined type of person. But Butterfinger is easily the best candy bar ever made. And I think I might go ham on those and take all of them out of that store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not a bad pick, honestly.
And they're available year round. So, check this place out. Again, WRKR.com and over on the 1077 RKR app. What would you walk out of that store with if you went to visit? Like, what's your go-to candy that you would walk out of there with a whole, palette of if you had that opportunity? 978-1077. I want to know what to put in my trick-or-treat buckets for you kids out there this year.
Quick side note, we should probably caution you, if you do go to Sweeties, make sure you got a good dentist lined up for an appointment when you get home.
Except me, because I'm not going to do that. Not going to happen. Sorry, dentist people.
Well, you know what they say.
What's that?
If you're true to your teeth, they'll never be false to you.
I've never heard that before. It makes sense, though. It makes sense. Boy, I'm going to have false teeth at some point in my life. Love it. 2 for Tuesday. Couple from Cream there. 1077 RKR. It is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
Well, the numbers are in, and the Detroit Tigers were one of the worst attended teams in the MLB during the regular season this year. Weirdly enough, though, they did set 2 attendance records at the same time. So the MLB has announced all the numbers for attendance this season, which you can see on the 1077 RKR app and at WRKR.com. First place, no surprise, it was the Dodgers. Average attendance of 46,149 people per game.
Huh.
Of course, when you bring in Shohei Ohtani, best player in baseball, that you're going to do that. Last place, no surprise due to the revolt there in Oakland. The A's only averaged about 5,952 people per game.
Yeah, that is revolting.
That is, oh God, it's so bad. And I think that number went way up just because of that last game when they sold the place out. But from the bottom of the list, it's the A's, the Marlins, because people in Miami would rather be out partying than watching baseball. The White Sox, because, well, we know why. The Rays, again, Tampa Bay, they're in Florida. People would rather be outside, during the summer. And then the Detroit Tigers, 5th worst attendance in the league, averaging 16,165 people in the park. that has 41,830 seats. What makes things worse is attendance was down 2.7% from last season.
That's wild. But you said we also set some records too, though.
Right. So when the Tigers made their run in September, attendance obviously started going up. And when they got into the playoffs, attendance went way up. During Game 3 of the ALDS against the Guardians, Comerica Park set a postseason record with 44,885 fans. Keep in mind, stadium only seats about 41,000. So 3,000 of those people were standing room only in the park.
Man.
And you almost bought those tickets. The very next day, Game 4, they broke the record again.
Dang.
44,923 people. Previous record for all of this for the postseason was just shy of 44,000 people in 2013's run against the Orioles.
That is wild, man. It seems like teams really, like I wonder if like teams see their numbers going down and they come up with like some kind of like gimmick thing to do to draw people in. Like, they'll like the Orioles, like say their attendance go down. Well, then they're like, oh, we're going to have Cal Ripken night.
Yeah.
And Cal Ripken will show up and they'll get people to buy tickets, you know?
They do that. They have like the weird food specials and stuff that they do. Because baseball especially is known for the ballpark stuff, the food that they do in the big tall beers. No, the biggest detriment actually, because overall attendance at games locally is down across the MLB. A lot of that has to do with people being overpriced, outpriced basically. And you would think blacking out, certain markets from baseball would help the attendance. It's actually making it worse because people start to hate the MLB and the teams because they can't watch them when they can't go to the games. You know what I mean? So then they lose interest and then they forget that, oh, there's a home game this week. I could probably go. So all of that concern, attendance is down, but you can check this out. You can read everything over at WRKR.com and over on the 107.7 RKR app again. One thing I did realize, I found out when I was looking all of this information up, and we discussed this briefly after the show yesterday when I found this out. The actual attendance record for Comerica Park was during the regular season. It was 45,280 people. This was July 26th of 2008 against the White Sox. And it was just a random day in the middle of the season. The only thing I could come up with as to why this game mattered was it was a Saturday. Verlander was pitching against the Sox, who were in first place at the time, and they were on like a 4-game win streak, I think. And it was a divisional game. So maybe it was just like the perfect storm of a great day for baseball and all the little implications kind of made it interesting. Other than that, I can find no discernible reason why that specific game was so important that it set an attendance record at Comerica Park. Does anything pop out to you on that?
No, not at all. I can't even think of it.
The Tigers, I think, were in last place in the division at that time, too. So I don't know. If anyone can enlighten me, please do. 978-1077. Were you at the game? Did you watch it and remember why it was such a big deal that it set a Comerica Park record? Like, this is seriously driving me mad that I can't figure out why this was such a big game, because that's not a small number. Why was that game so important? 1077 RKR, it is the Rocker Morning Show with Meatball.
And Mark Frankhouse.
So the great news for the Lions this past weekend was y'all were so dominant, you were throwing touchdown passes at linemen against my Cowboys. Just toying with us like a big old cat, pawing around at us like one of those little jingly ball toys. It was not...
Very true.
Yeah. We also learned that the final score was a scoregami, which is one that had never happened before, 47-9. The NFL, that was a new one to add to the list for the NFL. And this was the second worst home loss the Cowboys ever faced, and the worst since they moved to Jerry World. So congratulations there. Bad news, though. Aiden Hutchinson. Confirmed reports now, he broke his tibia and fibula, which is both bones in the lower leg. And if you can help it, do not go looking for that photo, because it is gruesome to see somebody with a second knee It's not okay. Nearly made me puke when somebody sent it to me. But he did have immediate surgery in Dallas. All parties are saying he's doing well. The surgery went well, and his leg should heal just fine, given time in rehab. No timeline for his return. They literally just put 2 bones back together, so they need to see how it's healing before they can make any assessments. He claims, or at least people around him say, that he says he's going to be back for the Super Bowl. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking like 8 months at the minimum.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, though, lots of love pouring in for him, obviously, and people wanting to know how they can help support him while he's down. And he actually does have some outlets that can benefit from this. A reporter from the Michigan Wolverine, Anthony Broom, said this is actually a chance for something horrible to turn into something good.
Right. So how can we actually help? Is there like a website or like, I guess, like what's the organization?
He has a foundation called Hutch's Heroes Foundation where fans can support the charity and directly support local Michigan children battling life-threatening illnesses. The link is up now, WRKR.com, and on the 107.7 RKR app that go directly to his foundation. You can learn about the children impacted there, and you can purchase merch and make a donation that goes directly to Hutch's Heroes.
I'll be honest, I'm surprised he didn't just tell the coaches to tape up his leg and let him go back into the game. He's a tough guy. Like, he probably could have finished the game.
And just Hutch out there with a 2x4 duct taped to his lower leg.
I mean, it's not like the Cowboys did any better after he came out of the game anyway, right? It's like,
listen, soak it up while you can, Mark. I hope you enjoy your time as America's new team. Because if anyone knows the price tag that comes with that title, it's us Cowboys fans. And it may seem like a beautiful thing now, but then the haters come out. And then the entire NFL fan base starts tuning in just to watch you lose and troll you mercilessly day in and day out. So enjoy being loved now, Mark. Because one day, they'll once again hate the new America's team.
you don't have to be so dramatic about it.
I'm a Cowboys fan, Mark. Everything is dramatic.